Today, our topic of discussion is electric flux. So, at first, we have to know what is electric flux. It is defined as the number of electric field lines passing normally through a surface. Okay, it is the count of the electric flux uh, passing normally through a surface. We consider a surface. Suppose we consider a surface like this. Okay, and electric field lines are passing through the surface like this. This is how electric field lines are passing through the surface. And the electric field intensity due to this electric field line is given by E. Then the electric flux, which is represented as phi E, is equal to the electric field E and S, where this S represents surface area. Now, if the surface is not like this, then how can we find the electric field? Suppose there is a surface like this, and electric field lines are passing through this surface. Electric field lines are passing through this surface like this. And in that case, if this is the electric field, in that case, how can we calculate the electric field, electric flux in this case? Then we have to consider a small surface. Suppose this is a small surface, and this small surface has its vector in perpendicular direction, ds vector. So this ds vector is called the area vector. This ds vector is called the area vector. And if the angle between this ds vector and electric field say E, then in this direction only we can write E cos theta. Then the electric flux through this small region, electric flux through the small region d phi is equal to E cos theta multiplied with ds, or we can write d phi is equal to E vector dot ds vector. Therefore we can write for the full surface, for the whole surface, phi E is equal to closed integration of E vector dot ds vector, where ds vector represents the area. One thing we have to keep in mind, that this area vector, this area vector is always perpendicular to the surface, always perpendicular to the surface. This is very important for us to understand. I hope this is clear, children. Now comes Gauss law. This is another important law in electrostatics. So what is the definition under this Gauss law? So according to this law, the total electric flux through any closed surface, the total electric flux through any closed surface, let us say the closed surface has an area S in free space is equal to 1 by epsilon 0 times the charge enclosed by the surface. So mathematically we can write that phi, already we know that phi is equal to closed integration of E dot ds, and from Gauss law this comes out to be q by epsilon 0. This is the Gauss law. Okay, I hope the Gauss law is clear to you. Now if someone asks you to prove Gauss law, then how we can prove it? Let us see. Proof of Gauss law. So let us consider that there is a charge. Say this is the charge plus q, and there is a point at a distance r, there is a point p, okay, on which the electric field is acting due to plus q in this direction. This is the electric field acting on plus q. Okay, is this clear to everyone? What is the magnitude of this electric field? The electric field acting on P due to plus Q, E vector is equal to, we can write 1 by 4 pi epsilon 0 Q by R square, and we can take a direction, that is R cap. This is the electric field acting at point P. Now the same electric field will be acting on any other point which is at a distance r from the center. Let us say this point to be O. So if the distance is same due to the same charge, the electric field will also be same. So if we take a spherical region, where at any point the electric field will be same, that type of region is called, we have taken a spherical surface, that type of surface is called Gaussian surface. Gaussian surface. What is a Gaussian surface? A Gaussian surface is where the electric field intensity at any point is same. This is a Gaussian surface. To be specific, it is a Gaussian sphere. What is a Gaussian surface? Let me explain to you once again that any surface where the electric field intensities are same at any point, that type of surfaces are called Gaussian surfaces. So here we have specifically taken a Gaussian sphere. Okay. So at any point on this sphere, let's say this point, or this point, at any point, the electric field intensity is same. Okay. So we have just considered the point P, and at point P, the electric field intensity is given by this formula E equals to 1 by 4 pi epsilon 0 Q by R square, and R cap gives the direction. Now we are considering a small area element. Okay. Let us consider a small area element. This is the area element. Okay. This is area element. And this area element has area vector ds like this. Okay. So what we can do? We can write it like this. Therefore, electric field not electric field. Therefore, electric flux through ds, electric flux through ds is given by phi is equal to d phi, rather d phi is equal to E dot ds. And what is the angle between them? 0 degree. So E ds cos 0 degree, which comes as E ds. Okay. Therefore, net electric flux phi is equal to integration of d phi, which comes as integration of E ds, closed integration. So what is E? E is 1 by 4 pi epsilon 0 into Q by R square, and ds, let us write ds like this, E dot ds. Now this whole part, this whole part is a this whole part is a constant, so it will come out of the integration automatically. So we can write it like this. This whole part is a constant. So as it is a constant, it will come out of integration. And as it will come out of integration, then we can write the rest of the part like this. 1 by 4 pi epsilon 0 Q by R square integration of ds. So integration of ds comes area of this sphere. What is the formula for area of a sphere? 4 pi R square. So it comes as 1 by 4 pi epsilon 0 Q by R square multiplied with 4 pi R square. So 4 pi cancels, R square cancels, which comes as Q by epsilon 0. This is proved. This is how we can prove Gauss law. I hope the proof is clear, that how we can prove Gauss law is the process is clear to everyone. Now there are some special cases that we need to understand regarding this Gauss law. Special cases. What are the special cases? Number one, If the closed surface does not include any charge, if the closed surface does not include any charge, then what happens? That is, Q equals to 0. If Q equals to 0, then phi also becomes there is no flux. So phi is equal to closed integration of E dot ds is also 0, because if there is no charge, so Q is 0. So no flux will be there. Okay. Number two, if there are two charges, minus Q and plus Q, then also net Q is equal to 0, then also the flux is 0. Okay. Number three, we should remember the net electric flux through any closed surface is directly proportional to the net amount of charge enclosed within the surface, closed within the surface, and not on the size of the closed surface, and not on the size of closed surface. So this point is very important for us to understand, that the electric flux through any closed surface is independent of the size of the surface. It does not depend on the size of the surface. Okay. Number 4, a charge residing outside the closed surface does not affect the electric field intensity, or not electric field intensity, we can say does not affect the electric flux of the closed surface. This is also a very important point to understand. Now we will study the applications of Gauss law. Okay. Applications of Gauss law. The first application of Gauss law is electric field intensity due to an infinitely long straight wire. Electric field intensity due to an infinitely long straight wire. Okay. Let us consider this to be a infinitely long straight wire. Let us consider this to be an infinitely long straight wire. Okay. And we are supposed to find the electric field intensity, let us say at point P. This is the point where we are supposed to find the electric field intensity. So here the electric field is given by, this is how the electric field is given. This is how the electric field is given. Okay. Now what we can do is we can draw a Gaussian cylinder. Let us draw a Gaussian cylinder. This is a Gaussian cylinder. Okay. And in this Gaussian cylinder, we have considered 1, 2, and 3 surfaces. First is this top surface, second one is the curved surface, and third one is again the lowermost surface, circular surface. So, if we consider that total charge is equal to capital Q and linear linear charge density linear charge density is equal to lambda, then linear charge density lambda, then we can write, if L is the length of this Gaussian cylinder, then length of the surface length of the surface is equal to small l. Therefore, charge on the surface, charge enclosed by the Gaussian surface is equal to lambda L. This is the charge enclosed by the Gaussian surface. If lambda L is the charge enclosed by the Gaussian surface, then we can write, according to Gauss law, closed integration of S E dot ds equals to Q by epsilon 0 is equal to lambda L by epsilon 0. Okay, we can write it like this, that closed integration of S E dot ds, let us write this as equation 1. It can be classified into 3 categories, that is closed integration of 1 E dot ds plus closed integration of 2 E dot ds plus closed integration of 3 E dot ds. Okay, which will come as lambda L by epsilon 0. Okay, now it is very important for us to understand that at surfaces 1 and 2, 1 and 3, at surface 1 the electric field will be in this direction, but the ds vector is in this direction. Similarly, at surface 3 also electric field is this in this direction, ds vector is in this direction. So they are perpendicular. And for surface 3, the electric field and ds are in same direction. That is, ds means the area vector. Okay. So we can write that for surfaces 1 and 3, closed integration of E dot ds is equal to 0, since theta is equal to 90 degree, cos 90 is 0, so we can write it as 0. Therefore, closed integration of E dot ds is only for closed integration of second surface E dot ds. That is equal to closed integration of E ds cos 0 degree, which comes, E will go out of integration, into closed integration of ds, and hereby it comes as, because it is a curved surface, so 2 pi r l. This is the result. So therefore, from equation 1 we can write that E into 2 pi r l is equal to lambda l by epsilon 0. So l gets cancelled. Okay, therefore E comes as lambda by 2 pi epsilon 0 r. So what we have found is that electric field intensity is inversely proportional to the distance for an infinitely long wire. It is very important for us to understand, because on other cases it is inversely proportional to the square of the distance. Okay, therefore it is very significant. I hope it is clear to everyone. So we will continue the other applications on the next video. Till then, thank you and stay safe.